Baron the Bear here, and this is going to be a video on the Walking Dead Survivors game on the new update that came out yesterday in regards to the survivors and the chemistry and how to do your survivor resets to utilize the maximum amount of your medals in the game. So I'm basically gonna just talk about how I went about to reset my survivors, maybe to give you some ideas for you to do the same, and then I'll walk over some of the survivor chemistry teams and which ones are good for which type of player. If you're a free-to-play player or you do spend money in the game, I'm gonna give options for everyone, so everyone who watches this is going to gain something from it. So first I'm going to talk about is the survivors, how I did my resets. How I resetted everything is I basically reset all of my legendaries. As you can see, all my legendaries down here are all level 1s. Okay, now the development survivors, they'll have to be leveled up again with development legendary medals. So what I did was I went with one team. I focused on one team. Basically my best high-starred legendaries I could. I focused that for my F1. So basically Beta, Abraham, and Lydia is my F1. My next two formations, I focused on epics. Okay. And then my F4, I went with the blue. This way it enables me to use all my legendary medals on those three survivors, and then the epic medals on my F2 and F3, and then the rare medals on my F4. And the focus will be leveling up my F1 troop first. So I got Lydia at 90 at max right now until I get her 5 stars. Abraham, he's at max. I got to get the experience I need to level him up to a 100 level, and I need the medals. So as you can see, I need 800 gold medals and I only have 200, so I need 600 more and I can get them to 95, and then I need to get them to 100, and at that point it's going to take me 900 medals to get him to 5 if I don't switch over to alpha before then. I might save some levels. He's pretty good right now I might get him maybe to 95 maybe, and save the 100 for alpha, who I'm planning on switching out. Now if you're a free-to-play player, a good strategy would be, if you only have epics, is you can go with what I got from my F2. Okay, you could go with Billy or Jared for your front crew, and then Rick, and then Shane. And the reason why I recommend Rick and Shane is Rick... If you look at Rick, his skills, the damage one, he has his last skill, he has the fighter's walker's attack increase at max level it's 18%, and march speed 35%. So all fighters So what this means is if you have them in your formation, you go out and fight walkers, you're going to have a 35% increased march speed and 18% damage for everything in your march. So it's really a good idea to use him, especially if you're a free-to-play player, because you can use him to have a potential to kill the highest level walkers that you need to kill, so you can unlock higher level farming tiles. Also, if you use Shane with the Rick, you get an increase of 6% attack of survivor's crew and defensive survivor's crew for those two formations. I mean, for those two survivors. So if you look at Shane's skills, crew attack 13%. Okay, if you 5-star him, you max him to level 100, you'll get an 18%. So 6% with the synergy, with the chemistry, plus 18, that's 24% increase to attack damage. Okay, and if he's your range, that's 24% increase to damage. So that's why he can be good for your range. Jared, I'll point him out. Now with him sieging, his skills, his attack and defense, when sieging attack of all fighters, when a sieging attack of all fighters, if he's at max level, is 14%. That's all fighters. So if you already have Shane at 26% or 24% increase of damage, that's going to be another 14. So Shane will get a 38% increase to damage when attacking players. So that would be a very good PvP type of setup. Would be Jared in the front crew, Rick in the middle crew, and Shane in the rear crew. Then after you work on Morgan, you can get Morgan to level up. Then once you got Morgan to 4 stars, you could put him into your front crew with the melee. And as you can see, the chemistry with 3 of them all together, you're going to get a 20% defense and health for all of those formations. Now, that might be a good way to use, the both melee troops, Rick with melee, and only have Shane with range. So this is basically what you're looking at right now. This is basically going to be what your free-to-play type of scenario is going to be. And here's the other epic ones. Boyd, he's really good for defense. You got Zeke. So basically going to depend on how high star levels you have for your survivors. You don't want to pick a survivor to work with and put in your F1 if you're not going to be able to eventually get them to 4 to 5 stars. And a 4-star legendary is pretty much going to be always better than a 5-star epic. So in-game wise, you want to be looking at getting your 5-star legendaries. Early game or mid-game, if you need to just go with epics for the time being, you can go for epics. Okay, now I'm going to walk you through how you can best get the survivors for the chemistries. As you can see in the very top, you got Shane, Boyd, and Rick. Straight shooters, Shane, Zeke, and Jared. Cowboy posse, Billy, Zeke, and Rick. Prisoner recon, Michonne, Glenn, and Rick. Hometown heroes, Shane, Morgan, and Rick. You can notice in those 5 top chemistry, you can see a pattern kind of here. You got a lot of Shane, you got some Ricks, And then you got Morgan and Michonne as some of your legendaries. So Morgan is great. He's great because you can get 2 of his fragments every day from the clan shop. Michonne, she's going to cost you because you get more of her fragments. It's a lot easier to purchase the VIP packs that you unlock every VIP level you get. So that's going to be a progression based. Michonne is good for rear for the rear crew, and Rick would be in the middle, and then okay, now you can see the Whispers. You got Beta, Lydia, and Alpha. That's what I'm going for. You get Beta from the Wheel of Fortune, which costs, you need gems. You're going to have to spend money. Lydia, and then Alpha is going to be the next survivor for the Wheel of Fortune, which you're going to need to spend money. So right now, for the moment, I have Beta and Lydia, and I'm using Abraham until I get Alpha. Then the love triangle, we got Abraham and Holly and Rosita. Most likely you got Abraham and Rosita. You'll have to work on getting Holly. Freedom Fighters, you got Princess, Merker, and Laura. Princess, she was a daily survival. You had to buy the daily packs every day, the 3 packs, to get her fragments. I think I got her to 3 stars. The Saviors, Ryan's going to be replaced by John. Dwight and Ryan are both from the daily packs. You buy the 3 packs a day. Negan, you can get him 5 of his shards a day from the clan shop, but it costs a lot of clan points, so that could be a little difficult. The Governor, the Tyrants, you got the Governor, Pamela, and Negan. Once again, you have Negan in there, so you could use him with Dwight and the Governor. Pamela, I'm not really sure about. The Governor, you get his fragments from the Strongest Survivor event by winning the high ranks. Magna's crew. Magna's not into the game yet, I don't think. Yumiko, the new update, Yumiko is in a $10 pack to unlock her. Connie, I'm not really sure about her yet. So Magma's crew is going to be something you're going to really have to hold off, I think, to focus on if you want to go with that route. Elite Warriors, once again you got Michonne, so she is valuable to some extent. That's one thing you need to think about is if you go with her early on, you can use her with Glenn and Rick, or just with Rick. And then later in the game, if you get Jesus and Ezekiel, which you get from the high level VIP pack, you're going to be spending a lot of money for Ezekiel. Jesus you can get from the pools. So you might be able to get the Elite Warriors unlocked later on. Okay, here's the chemistry tree once again, and I'm going to go over what I think, starting from the free-to-play to more of a spenders, what are the best 3 survivor formations to focus on for your F1. Jared for your front row, or Billy for your front row, and you can work on Morgan to get him to 4 stars to replace either Jared or Billy in her front row. Then there's Lydia, which she's not too bad to get if you do a lot of pools, survivor pools, for your front row. And then Princess for your front row, but you have to buy her packs, her daily packs. So if you bought her daily packs, you got her 3 or 4 stars, maybe you might consider her for a front row survivor for one of your formations. So those are the 4 I mainly recommend for your front row: Jared, Billy, Morgan, or Lydia. For your middle row, starting from the the low level free play. Boyd, Zeke, Rick, Negan, and the Governor. Then Beta and Dwight. That would be your middle formations, but you have to pick for that. Your rear formations, your options are going to be either Shane, Michonne, Abraham, Rosita. Now, if you notice, I'm just saying Abraham and Rosita. They both recommend those to be range. So what you could do is you could swap one of those and put them into your middle crew and put them as range, possibly. You might want to experiment a little bit. If you decide to use Rosita and Abraham, that might work. Then there's Glenn, which you got to buy the packs, and he can be expensive for your rear. Then Ryan for your rear, which he's going to get replaced with John, so I'm pretty sure John will be the rear. Then Jesus, Alpha, and Ezekiel would be all your rear survivors. Now, I'm trying to keep it short, but this time I'm going to go over the certain chemistry trees on what's best for which ones. Now, if you're free to play, Hometown Heroes, the green one, right in the center, that's going to be your focus. Getting Morgan for your melee front crew, Rick for your middle crew, Shane for your rear crew. If you go with the love triangle, you can work on Abraham and Rosita until you can get the other survivors. I'm not sure. She's a new survivor, so I'm not sure how she's going to be, how you're going to be able to get her. Maybe from 10 pulls, I'm not real sure. The Whispers, you see, you got Lydia for your front crew, Beta for your middle crew, and Alpha for your rear crew. The Saviors, it's going to be it's going to be Negan or Dwight for your middle crew. The issue I had with some of these chemistry trees is some of the survivors were recommended to be put in the same crew position. So what you could probably do is either switch Dwight or Negan into your front crew and use 2 melee units. Melee for your Negan and Dwight. Then Ryan is recommended to be in your rear crew, so he's going to be your range, which is going to be replaced by John later on in the game as your range. What else do we got? Then in regards to Negan and the Tyrants, you're going to have probably either Governor or Negan is going to be in your front crew. And then the new girl, that survivor is probably going to be your range, would be my guess. Prison Recon, it looks like you're going to have probably Rick as your middle crew. I want to say Michonne as your rear crew, because you're probably going to get her more starred up and powered up than you're going to get Glenn, maybe, unless you buy all those packs for Glenn. And Glenn, you might just go with 2 of those survivors, and go with maybe Morgan as your front crew. So you would be using a combination of Hometown and Prison. You'd be using Morgan for your front crew, Rick for your middle crew, and Michonne for your rear crew. That could be a good setup, and that would be something you could work on for late game. That would be a good recommendation. So, and the other ones like your Light Warriors, Magnus Crew, Freedom Fighters. the Tyrants, you know, the new girl. Those are going to be something. They're probably going to have more events that's going to get you the rewards for those. So those are probably going to be something you might have to want to try to look at working on later on in the game. So to cap it all off, if you're still listening, here's what my recommendations are going to be for your front, middle, and rear crews for your F1 formations. The options will either be, in my opinion, the best are Jared, Morgan, Lydia for your front crews. If you have those, you know, 4 or 5 stars, the better. Your middle crew, you're going to have either Boyd, Zeke, Rick, Negan, Betta, Dwight, or the Governor. Your rear crew, you're going to have, from most likely, Shane, Michonne, Abraham, Rosita, Glenn, Ryan. So the main characters, survivors that you'll probably be most likely to get high level in the beginning right now for the moment would be Morgan for your front row, Rick for your middle crew, and Shane for your rear crew. So I just gave a bunch of different options out there. It's all going to really depend on how starred up you have your survivors, and then go from that point. But as long as you have a game plan, a goal for which survivors you want to work on to swap out the ones you currently have, you know, you're going to be in good shape. Well, anyway, this is Baron the Bear, and I hope this video helped. Talk to you guys later.